And welcome back to the set of the WHIG TV Morning Show. Thanks as always to Fred for the forecast.
Let me just say this.
A little unseasonably weather.
Before we get into this, Matt about caught me right there messing around on my phone, because I'm not the consummate professional that our weatherman is.
That's true.
Our weatherman was laughing and joking with me until about 2 seconds before he came on, and then he went poker face, stone poker face, just like that. Professional over there.
You cannot.
And us amateurs, he about caught me messing around on my phone trying to look up something on my phone. So,
and I even gave you the warning.
I know it. I'm about to come back, and I was still
that's right.
not as good as Freddie.
There you go. Well, we appreciate Randy and Donald for that last segment. I hope that information was good for you to help understand this whole Twin County strategic process. Well, right now we're privileged to have as a guest Bert Daniel, running for County Commissioner, District 4, Nash County. Welcome to the show, Mr. Daniel.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Good morning. Glad to be here.
I appreciate you being here today. His information will be rolling across the screen. You see the website, bertdaniel.com. First things first is anytime we talk to various candidates or guests, we like to give them the opportunity to give a basic introduction of themselves, who they are, where they're from, how long they've been here, and also just let the people get to know you a little bit.
Thank you. I appreciate that. If you see me on the camera looking back and forth, the camera's in my way of.
I promise you're on there.
Okay. I'm Bert Daniel, live in the Stanhope community out on Highway 97. Been a lifelong resident of Nash County. Graduate of Spring Hope High School, and that's going to date me a little bit.
Oh, I was about to say, I didn't even know there was a.
NC State, Wolfpack. We had a good basketball season.
You did.
But I was a professional salesman, traveled eastern North Carolina and dealt with high school. So just about every day I'm very familiar with education. I got public services sort of run in my family. My father was a former commissioner back in the 80s.
Okay.
And so I've always been interested, but my professional career kept me out of the community, and now that I'm retired and have time, it's an opportunity to give back into my community. My wife is very involved in a couple of ministries.
Okay.
Matter of fact, today she and 6 other ladies host a ministry to 19 to 20 widows.
Wow.
They meet every other month in our home, and they provide lunch for them. So just a wonderful, wonderful opportunity to adjust the mic.
What you're twisting is.
It's just getting a little feedback in it or whatever.
So I'm looking forward to been involved, been just about every county commissioners meeting for the last 2 years.
Okay.
Educating myself. Nash County actually had a training institute for county government. I went through that about 2 years ago. So I'm trying to get involved in county government, and my byline in my campaign is a voice.
Okay.
I think that the people, especially in District 4, and District 4 is new in one respect in that with the redistricting, because of the 2010 census, the lines have changed. So now we go from Horns Church all the way up through Sandy Cross into Nashville, around to Momire, and back down through the White Oak community, back down across 97 by. So it's a big area.
Absolutely.
So I'm familiarizing myself with those people. But I look forward and met a lot of nice people. And the one thing that I hear is that people feel like that they have not had a voice in Nashville.
Okay.
And so being a salesman, I'm very sensitive. It's not about me.
Right.
It's about the constituents, and I'm just only a voice. So.
Absolutely. You mentioned the background, your father, running and being commissioner and things like that. Is there one moment you can think back to that you maybe, I don't know, you woke up one morning and you're just like, I've got to do this. I've got to, run for public office. This is something that I really, any one moment that enticed you to make that move, or do you feel like, man, this is just in my blood? And
it wasn't a revelation that I woke up to. I've been involved in several projects. I think my professional career has trained me to be a facilitator, to be a spokesman. I feel like I'm pretty good on my feet. I have been coached over the years to get the wax out of my ears and let my ears be a bigger port than my mouth.
Okay.
So listening to people, having the trained profession to communicate and facilitate on behalf of other people, and just being passionate about my fellow man. And then going back to the voice. So, it's a history, not one big moment, but just sort of being involved in the community, in the church over the years, in different activities through the community. You just see the opportunity. And a lot of people came to me and said, Bert, would you please consider this? It was a very, very difficult decision.
Okay.
And I'll tell you, my wife and I prayed about this an awful lot.
Okay.
We believe in faith. We're faith-based. We believe in the power of prayer, and there's a bigger plan and a master plan. And so I feel like that I was called to fall into this plan, and God will determine the destiny of it.
There you go, absolutely. As you mentioned getting around to meeting a lot of the people, some which you've known, obviously a lot which you didn't know, talking about being the voice for these people. What do you see, and this is, piggybacking on what enticed you to run, what do you see as some of the biggest things on their mind, and also some of the issues that you want to focus on, if elected here, that this area really, really needs? I mean, obviously economy comes up a lot, but, some of these issues and how you would directly become involved in making these things happen.
Well, I really applaud the guests that you had on previous to me, and I was around the corner listening to the interview because I wasn't going to be at home to see it on TV.
Right.
I really applaud that, and I think what has happened, in my opinion now, is that people have been not included in government so much in the past that these situations have created, and not overnight, but to get people back involved is going to take longer, and I hope people will jump in just like myself. But yes, we need to get people back involved. We need to get people, and to be more specific to your question, Wayne, is jobs.
Okay.
We need jobs, but I really think there's a connection between a trained workforce and a job opportunity.
Okay.
And if we accept mediocre, then we're going to accept a mediocre type economic development.
Okay.
So if we could get a well-trained, and which the old cart and horse story, which comes first?
Right.
We've got to set a standard of expectations for our young people and help them with a vision. I've always contended that American people are basically gullible.
Right.
We have to help them with their vision and their imagination.
Okay.
And if we don't set standards and expectations, then we can only expect mediocre results.
Absolutely,
So,
and that was one of the three.
and that goes to the community college also.
Yeah.
They got a great program going out there. They're expanding. The bond referendum, and I'm glad they chose to go the bond referendum now.
Right. We got the vote. You got the vote coming up. Obviously, that being a huge issue. Pat Daniels, just as a side note here, is going to be a guest with Sandra and Lisa tomorrow to talk about this bond referendum. How does that play into your campaign or what are some of your thoughts there as far as how this relates to our area?
Well, I'm very big on education. As I said, we got to establish the expectations, and we got to provide the educational opportunities. Now, I'm not bashing the school system. I think they've done a great job, and I think we really need to respect the local elected board of education.
Right.
But I do think there needs to be a communications and a working relationship and understanding the boundaries that all systems work under with the county commissions and the Board of Education.
Okay.
If we try to beat up and bash each other, then we're just going to have a stalemate, and there will be no advancement. And who's going to suffer? The kids are going to suffer.
Exactly.
So at all stages of education, I think there needs to be a great working relationship and a great respect for your colleagues on whatever boards they sit on. Why ask them to be on a board if you're not going to respect and work with their opinions and their decisions? So I think there's a great opportunity for communications.
It is.
And for leadership to be to motivate and encourage, and what I call leadership by intimidation is negative, and it doesn't work.
Right.
So.
Well, and see, to me, that is one of the things that hinders us from making some of this progress. Is I think we spend a lot of time, negatively tearing down someone else's opinion instead of saying, okay, well, let's figure out how we can use everything that we're all bringing to the table, channel that in the right direction, and all work together. I think we spend a good portion of the time on these negative attacks and negative vibes that we spend so much time responding to them that we lose sight, lose focus of what we're there for in the first place. And so that's why I wanted to say something that you mentioned. Somebody's got to come in there and be that type of person that can bring all that together and mesh people well.
Oh,
to
absolutely.
me, that is huge in all this.
Oh, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Let's talk something else that you said. We've talked about some of your issues. I obviously wanted to talk to you about the Nash Community College, the education which you've tied to economic development and helping the kids, which I think is great. Going back to something that you said, and I'm assuming you may have been alluding to the discussion that's going on with the Sanderson Farms thing when you talked about having to make sure we have the right jobs in the right places that will spur further economic development. Things, so I'm going to put you on the spot here just for a moment. If you wouldn't mind talking to us a little bit about where you stand on Sanderson Farms, how you feel like that ties into your campaign also, as well as our future.
Well, about 18 to 20 months ago, I did get involved in Sanderson Farms. I'm a member of the Nash County Board of Health. And back in July of 2010, we got an inkling of something was beginning to happen. I know it's a quarterly board meeting, but I was asked to serve on that board, and I was glad to do so because I have a special interest in healthcare, having spent 9 years on the Nash County or the Nash Health Board system, and the last year as chairman. And so I've had leadership opportunities in the healthcare industry. We were asked to vote to do away with the intensive livestock ordinance, with no information provided to us. And it turns out that this was a demand by Sanderson Farms before they would ever consider Nash County that this intensive livestock ordinance needed to be taken off the books. That's when I got involved, and I got involved in the spirit of transparency.
Okay.
I felt like the citizens of Nash County were not being informed and provided an opportunity to voice on a multi-million-dollar investment of an industry that come in that could have a 40 to 60 year effect on our vision.
Okay.
And so I became involved in that, and yes, I am co-chair of the Nash County Landowners Association, and that has sort of catapulted me to be involved in this. District 4 is basically a rural district. We have had to tolerate, and I'll use that word liberally, comments from people in the Rocky Mountain area that says that we're ignorant. And I really take offense to the being called ignorant.
Right.
I think you need to respect your fellow human being and not call names.
Right.
But we have tolerated that. But we made a pledge when we first got organized. All of our comments would be based on research
Right.
and documented data. And so we've never fabricated anything that we've come up with.
And you're talking about, correct me if I'm wrong, about some of the disparaging remarks that have been made by some of the people that are against this in saying that the reason they're looking at our area in the first place should be an insult to all of us.
Oh, absolutely.
So to make those type of comments, we should be, man, that is offensive. What are we going to do to make sure that is not the way people look at us as we move forward in the future?
I made a speech about a week and a half ago, and I'll admit in my comment that I said the county is divided over this issue. And some people will acknowledge that, and some that there are leadership positions that will not acknowledge that. But that's when I think that I have something to bring to the table, that I understand both sides. And I have respect for my human man, that I understand humiliation, I understand reward, I understand sensitivity, I understand emotion. And we have, with all those ingredients, human ingredients, we can work with that and come to a common compromise. But to take a group of people and say, you're ignorant,
Right.
and bluntly not ever listen to them and never ask them to come to the bargaining table and never respect their opinion, and ramrod something down their throat, that is, and we have documented this is not a good project, and if we can talk about it, take a couple of hours and
That's
talk about
right.
it forever. But yes, I have ownership in this project,
Okay.
and I think that people that has catapulted me even more in District 4 because 99% of the people in District 4 are against this project.
Okay.
And I'll only speak to District 4 because that's the district I'm running in.
Right.
But it takes a big area of people.
Okay. All right, Bert Daniel, County Commissioner of District 4, our guest right now. As we close out the segment, I know you've got some items here, like you say, some flyers. Who do you want people to understand Bert Daniel is, as we mentioned? We've talked a little about some of the reasons that you're running, some of the things that you're passionate about. As we close out the segment, what are some final things that you would share with our viewers here today?
I was just yesterday. I was told a story about a gentleman I was having lunch with, and he says, "I've been in politics for a long time," and he says, "Talk to your neighbors." He says, "I made the mistake of early on of not asking my neighbor for his vote," and it made a lot of sense.
Right.
A big area, and I'm out shaking hands and meeting people, and I'm a little shy in one respect, and when it comes to this type of thing. But I would ask the people in District 4, I will ask for your vote. I would appreciate it. I will be, in exchange for your vote, I will be your voice. Now, I can't make a lot of promises because there's a lot I don't know. I'm not on the inside yet. But what I will be your voice. I'll be a voice for education, for accountability, and for positive economic growth that creates jobs that will enhance our community and our young people. For family and community is real strong, and a voice for agriculture. I have a degree in agricultural economics from NC State, and so I'm very familiar with the rural community, and I know how it all blends together. I feel like that my 35 years in professional sales has given me the opportunity I know how to balance a budget. I know how to make a payroll. I know how to make decisions that concern, you can't spend money you don't have. So to review that, I think I have the training, and I just simply say, for your vote, you get a voice, and I appreciate that. Talk with me, communicate with me, and I will be your voice.
All right.
You.
And as you've seen, his website, bertdaniel.com, various phone numbers, information to get in contact. Bert Daniel, our candidate for County Commissioner, District 4, wanting to be the voice, as you've heard, for District 4. Bert, thank you so much for being with us today. Absolute pleasure to have you. Great job. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
We'll come back and get Fred's final look at weather. We'll get back into the discussion that we had previously running in the 7 o'clock hour, and as always, save a little time for some sports talk as well. You're watching the WHIG TV Morning Show, brought to you by Don Bullock Chevrolet and Chick-fil-A. Stay with us.